Hi everyone, welcome to the Djangonaut Space Showcase for Session 5. It's almost 8 years that we are together, and looking back, this journey has been phenomenal. Today, we are here to celebrate everything that went into these weeks, the learnings that we have had, the curiosity, the courage, and the community that we have built along the way. So, what and why Djangonaut Showcase? It is our mini cosmic conference of lightning talks where the whole community comes together to reflect on this session. It's a space to, highlight not just what we have built, but who we have became while building it. So, this showcase is all about celebrating those wins that have been big or small, the code and non code contributions, the PRs, the debug battles that we have had, the conversations, maybe the questions that you have asked that you were afraid to ask initially, and all those moments where you chose to show up even when it was tough. So, yes, today we are not looking out for the perfect speeches or the perfect presentations. We are here to take pride in our journey that we have been made surrounded by people who understand the efforts that we have made behind each step that we have been here. So, surprise who all would be speaking today? Today, we have speakers from different roles, from different teams and different projects all across the session. And each one of us, Chiemezuo, Hwayoung, Tim, Mar, Hyerim, each one of these speakers have seen the session from a different angle. And I am super excited to see how these stories of every speaker will resonate to capture the full picture of these 8 weeks. And yes, we listen them all along together. What you'll hear a mix of experiences. Some might be technical, some might be personal, different perspectives, as we discussed, all reflecting the diversity of our community. Our speakers will be sharing things like what they have explored in these 8 weeks, what they plan to explore maybe in the next weeks coming together, lessons they have learned, moments, journeys, or everything in 5 minutes lightning talk format. So, how you all can engage with them as you listen, I extend my invitation to each one of you to support us, to react in chat, send emojis, cheer the speaker on, and later on we'll have a small Q&A towards the end. So, yes, let's kickstart the talks and celebrate the learnings all along. In the spirit of Djangonaut Space, we have the first speaker, Chiemezuo, the Djangonaut from Team Saturn of Django Debug Toolbar. Over to you, Chiemezuo.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chiemezuo, but for short, you can call me Mezuo. I am from Nigeria in West Africa, and I joined Djangonauts right after finishing my Google Summer of Code projects from the Wagtail organization. Well, so that's like the bit about me. Now, my motivation for joining the Djangonaut Space program was because I like the idea of giving back, and with Django has been a really good framework to me. So I felt a bit bad that I had not been able to make any significant contributions, and I wanted to try my hand at helping to make Django a better framework. That was my primary motivation. But when I tried, it was a bit difficult finding easy first pickings, finding issues to contribute to and pull requests. So I realized I needed a couple of hands to walk me through the process. Now, fast forward to when I got into the Djangonaut Space program. Yeah, so it's sort of divided into what I did and what I learned because in terms of pull requests, I did not get that many pull requests merged, but I learned a lot of things. Um, it mostly revolved around these two concepts, Django tasks and Django channels. So my first issue was to try to put support for the Django channels into the debug toolbar. And after a bit of trial and error, trying different things and a couple of meetings with my navigators, got to realize one thing, and that was that the Django debug toolbar in its state did not support Django channels. And the next issue I picked up was for Django tasks, which is still something in the works, but the proof of concept works. There's a pull request available for it. So like that's for what I did. Now, as for the parts of what I learned, I got to learn a lot about not just the debug toolbar itself, but how the monkey patching works with some like inner parts of Django. I got to read more about some Django stuff because the moment I stepped into async Django territory, it was a different ball game for me, and there was lots of reading and catching up to do. I got to discover about Daphne. I got to work with some ASCII files, which I had previously not done before. So it was a lot, but compressed in the 8 week period, it stopped looking like a lot. It felt like it was just something I could take my time, read through, and things flowed much better. Now, for the reflection, at first I felt I wasn't doing so great a job because it's easy to fall into the trap of using issues and pull requests merged as a metric for success. And I also felt bad that I was not understanding things as fast as I would normally have liked. But again, after a couple of conversations with both my navigator and my um, Djangonauts fellows, because when you get the perspective from other people in the same program with you, you realize that, oh, yes, it's overwhelming for not just you, but a lot of other people as well. Sometimes even for the navigator, as my primary navigator was also a first timer at the Djangonaut Space program. So I learned to slow down, and then I got to realize one thing, that it's a marathon, not a sprint. The idea of the program is to get people contributing. So it's not just like an 8 week long program, it's more or less like an 8 week orientation program towards contributing in the long run. So it became much easier to delve into things. I made lots of good friends, got to learn a lot about Django as a whole, got to learn about some inner workings too, like the Django working groups. And yeah, it was pretty much a fun experience for me in that regard. Now, the next steps for me, I would like to finish up on my Django tasks pull requests. I also have a conversation I'm supposed to initiating Django Forum, which is related to that. And I want to apply to a Django working group because I like the idea of it. I want to keep contributing long term to not just the debug toolbar, but Django as a whole. And hopefully, I would like to be in a position where I can help volunteer and maybe mentor or collaborate with someone on a Django program. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was an inspiring talk. We love how your journey you have explained and all those goals that you have for future. Hope so. We see you in working groups as well. And as you said, not an orientation, like just an orientation program. We hope it really kickstarts your journey within the Django. Okay, so yes. Next up, we have Hwayoung, a Djangonaut from Team Neptune, who has contributed to the core Django project. So, yes, Hwayoung, the stage is all
Uh,
yours.
yeah, hi folks. Is my audio coming through okay? Uh,
Yes, all
all right.
good.
Yeah. I'm Hwayoung, a Djangonaut from Team Neptune. Today I wanna talk about the Djangonaut journey I'm most proud of this year, what I learned from it, and what I hope to continue doing in the future. Um, as a Python backend developer, I've been always been interested in the Django community, and I wanted to contribute to Django's open source as a way to strengthen the ecosystem and connect with developers around the world. So that's why I joined Djangonauts. And here's what I learned. First, the power of sharing and asking. When I shared what was blocking me and asked questions, I could solve problems much faster. Yeah, sure, AI can help, but Having wonderful teammates and this supportive community was what truly mattered. For me, I did pair programming with my teammates. We reviewed my PR comments together, including documentation related feedback, and figured out what to do. And it was really helpful. And second, focus on why, not just what. At first, when I was solving issues, I mostly focused on what needed to be changed. I just followed others' suggestions or examples, but didn't always think deeply about why it was necessary. But recently, I tried to understand the reason behind each change, and by doing this, I started to see how Django actually works and why certain choices were made. It made me feel like a true contributor. So, after Djangonauts, I'll keep sharing and asking questions within the Django community. Even though this program is ending, it really feels like the beginning of my Django contribution journey. And if possible, I love to help organize the next Djangonaut session, and uh, I'm interested in the Django AI team. Yeah. So I also wanna help create the same kind of comfortable space in Highlighted Soul or Django Korea by organizing translation sessions or open source seminars. So that beginners were encouraged to contribute. Yeah, this is my story. Being part of Djangonauts was a true honor, and thank you all for creating such a safe and supportive space. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hwayoung. Having translation sessions on open source program is a really, really amazing thought. All our power, all our kudos to that. We're glad that how you mentioned the power of sharing within the community has helped you focusing on the why aspect and not just the what aspect that you have been doing. So we hope that the upcoming Djangonauts also take slight responses from these and they also get along within their journey. Okay, so yes. Next up, we have the founder, the navigator, the session organizer, our support, Tim Schilling, for Django Debug Toolbar of Team and helped along as navigator for Team Saturn this time around. So yes, Tim.
Hi, people. Hi, folks. Yeah, I'd like to spend my time talking about expectations versus reality. And so there's several memes out there about this. When I was looking for photos, this one made me laugh. So for people who aren't aware, it's of the character Thomas the Tank Engine baked as a cake on the left for the expectations, and then on the one on the right. Well, that's probably something you're more likely to find in a horror movie. But before we continue, we do need to acknowledge a few things. One, that ugly cake probably tastes amazing. Like it's still butter and sugar after all, and it's really hard to mess that up. Two, the nice cake was put together with at least one other ingredient, and I don't remember what the name is, but it's what gives it that solid, smooth look. And so clearly the other person didn't have that, and they were never going to match the look of the nice cake. And a lack of equipment is simply that, a lack of equipment. And then lastly, the person tried. Like just because it doesn't look like an actual toy you can play with doesn't mean it wasn't a good attempt. It's awesome that they made that attempt, and that's commendable. So, despite the face looking like something that will haunt my nightmares, this is pretty cool. And so now I'd like to talk about Djangonaut Space. So we all have our own expectations when it comes to participating in open source. In some cases, our expectations may exceed what's actually possible. However, if we reframe the ambitious expectations as aspirations, we can be a little easier on ourselves when we reflect on our journey. So I'm curious how many people have had one of these expectations for Djangonaut Space. Me personally, I'm going on session 5 now, and I think I finally stopped believing that meetings are ever going to be easy. Um, each session, I definitely think I'm going to make a bunch of new best friends. The next session, the next one, I'll become the Django expert. Doesn't really hit home for me anymore. I've seen too much. I'm well aware I'm never going to be the Django expert. The last one, I still always believe it. We've got 8 full weeks. That's so many weekends to get stuff done. Next slide, Priya, please. And then there's reality. People get jobs, we have life changes, schedules change dramatically. It becomes very challenging to schedule a regular meeting. Remember that friendship? It's kind of hard to connect with strangers that you've never met before and you don't know what you have in common. Or the code one, it's 3 weeks in, you've got a documentation only PR, it's got 20 comments, and you're still missing that little green check mark. On the time aspect, yeah, it's 8 full weeks, but then you remember weekends are when you're supposed to have fun. You got people inviting you to go to shows or a concert or go camping. Next slide, please. The reality is, open source is something we do during our extra time. It's our lowest priority, and it's meant to be achieved slowly. To that end, we should look at Djangonaut Space as a jumping off point, or in our space theme, as an ignition. Next slide. So what I'm working on, and what I invite you all to do, is to form gentler expectations. So keep aspiring for that greatness. You need that motivation. But understand that these are long-term aspirations. Expectations are for the short term and something that we can control that week or even just that day. For me, that's being present, communicating, and simply making the attempt. And even if our attempt is to create a cake which could traumatize a small child, if we change our perspective, we'll realize we still ended up with cake. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was an energetic talk. It was expectations versus reality talk, of course, and it really speaks in the spirit of the Djangonaut space. Thank you for giving that cake analogy. It was amazing to see. I hope if we were in person, we would have had this whole big cake and we'd be celebrating that along maybe
Oh,
someday, hopefully.
those cakes are so hard to make when there's multiple tiers. I've tried and yeah, it never goes well. It's so hard.
This gives me an icebreaker question to ask later. What kind of cake would you bring if you were on a cosmic conference for Djangonaut Space? Remind me later. First, we'll move on to the next talk, which we have from Mar, who is the Djangonaut of Team Mercury and has contributed tremendously to Django CMS. So, over to you, Mar. Tell us about your journey and how your experience in Djangonaut Space has been.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, so when I joined the program, I was hesitant because I'm not really a heavy user of Django. I have worked with Python a lot of years, but I've always wanted to contribute to open source because I'm a big fan, but never, could never find myself the way to do it because it's daunting. So this program, I think, for me, it has worked very well. I took it very seriously. I think some in my team, me and my colleague Vanessa, which we paired on a lot of these tickets, we were able to get some things. Although you see the list is very big, most of those are not really pull requests that got merged, but rather little improvements on bugs that could not be fully solved, but at least made better, or things that were discovered and then we opened a bunch of new tickets about them, or some documentation improvements. But yeah, I think every little counts. And my takeaways from the program, I wrote a blog, a post on my blog reflecting on everything. But mainly for me, it's been a confidence boost because I finally broke that first barrier of contributing something to open source that got accepted and was not just me trying to YOLO some PR out of nowhere and expecting it to get merged with. And then it was also a rewarding experience because it's rewarding when you see that something that you make becomes part of a code base that a lot of people are going to use. I also thought the program was fun and welcoming. Everyone was just so nice and helpful and celebrating of or others' achievements. And of course, there's also the lessons learned, because as you say, this is just like the first step into open source rather than a goal itself. And for me, is that the takeaways are that there are many ways to contribute to open source other than just with code. Like any engagement that you have with the community via tickets or discussions also progresses things and makes things better. So also means contributing. And yeah, collaboration and discussion in the end, you spend more time doing that than writing code. Uh, and just be patient, because as someone in this talk has said before, you can't expect open source, which is done in our free times, to move as fast as things move on a company. So the vibe is completely different. Thank you so much to all of us, and it was great, and I hope I can stick around too.
That was fantastic. I really loved how you highlighted your whole arc of open source being daunting that each one of us would have experienced at some point in our lives, and the open source burnout of how it's like a volunteering work. And I'm glad that you had fun while dealing with all that and get your key takeaways and achieve targets achieved. So thank you so much. And as you said, thank you to all of us. So yeah, next up we have Hyerim, who's the Djangonaut from Team Mars, Django. Hyerim is not with us in this particular meeting since, of course, the classic time zone problems. So we have a recording from Hyerim. I would play that for everyone and hope to send some encouragements and uh, what the key takeaways from the talk from Hiram were in the chat and Discord chat, of course. So, yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Hyerim Choi and I'm from Korea. Today I love to share my wonderful journey with Djangonaut Space. Before joining this program, my life as a developer has started to feel a little dull. I was writing code every day, but the excitement I once felt when I first started coding was slowly fading. Then Djangonaut Space entered my life. This program brought energy, curiosity, and joy back into my everyday routine. It reminded me why I first fell in love with programming, because of the joy of learning, creating, and solving problems together. I also truly loved sharing my experiences with others and hearing their stories. Through this program, I found a community that celebrates effort as much as results. And I was inspired by the encouragement and positive energy I received there. Before this, I had only participated in developer communities in Korea. But through Djangonaut Space, I had the chance to use English and connect with people from all around the world. It really helped me broaden my perspective and see things in a new way. And contributing to Django had always been one of my biggest dreams as a developer. But honestly, I have postponed it for years because it felt too overwhelming to do alone. Through Djangonaut Space, the dream finally came true. with the help of my teammates and communities. I learned to read Django's source code, write tests, make my first contribution, and even contribute to the Django newsletter. When I submitted my first pull request, I felt both nervous and proud. It was a big step forward. And this was the hardest part, waiting and fixing. I worked on my PR, fixing code, updating commits, and doing my best to apply all the feedback I received. But it wasn't easy. I wasn't fully familiar with Django's project structure, and sometimes I wasn't sure what I could safely change. Actually, my first PR hasn't been merged yet, but I'm still working hard every day, step by step, to make that first merge happen someday. Through this experience, I gained more than technical skills. I found confidence, perspective, and a deep motivation to keep contributing. Now I see open source as a living community where people share, grow, and support each other. For me, Djangonaut Space wasn't the end of a program, it was the beginning of my open source journey. And someday I hope I can help someone else take their first step just like others helped me take mine. Thank you for my teammates and everyone in this community for bringing warmth, encouragement, and meaning back into my developer life. This journey has reminded me why I love coding and why community truly matters. Even after Djangonaut Space ends, I hope to keep contributing to Django and continue growing through open source. And I hope that more Django developers in Korea will join this amazing program in the future. Thank you, Djangonaut Space.
Thank you, Hyerim. Brilliant talk. More power to you. That was amazing. Hope to talk to you soon, later on as well. It was an amazing way of how Hyerim mentioned of how she wants to like lead the next upcoming folks as well. So hope so. We have more Jagonauts from Korea next time. Okay, yes, that was all from the speakers today. Now the space is open for questions for everyone. Anything you had in mind while listening to the talks, or you wanted to ask, or just brew up some conversations, or I would say cosmic conversations over coffee. So, yes. To break the ice, I'd not do the cake question. I'd say just one word that you have been feeling right now after listening to all the talks. I say I'm grateful. I'd start first. Tim?
Inspired would be the word I'd go with.
Yeah, nice. Hwayoung?
Yeah, even though this isn't the official coding ceremony yet,
Yeah. Yeah, one
this
word.
program,
Yeah.
yeah. Through this program, I found a sense of belonging outside of my company, and it meant so much to me.
That's amazing sense of belonging that has been instilled. Chiemezuo?
I'd say happy because it's nice hearing people achieve their goals. And it also sounds from the number of people that want to keep contributing that Django itself is achieving its goals as well. So happy is the word.
Yeah, we're also happy to listen to that. Rachel?
Don't put me on the spot or anything. Thanks. Proud. I'm proud of the community and the organizers for pulling this together and creating a nice path for everyone to have success in the program, all the Djangonauts. And proud of the Djangonauts for stepping up and putting themselves out there in a space that maybe is a little bit scary, and being vulnerable and trusting us that they'll be okay and find their own success. So I'm proud of y'all did that. Great job.
Thank you. Mar?
I felt all warm and cozy hearing all of the humble learnings by everyone and how they want to stick around and keep growing on their journey.
Yeah. Okay, anyone who'd like to go on next?
Yeah, I guess I would like to go next. So well, for me, it's more of, having like a taste of leadership and her team, and understanding that, well, it takes more than just code to excel in a career as a software engineer, but more of, having to influence and having this impact that you have in the open source community. So thanks once again, Priya, and the organizing team. Yeah. Because otherwise, if maybe it wasn't like that, then no one would really like to stick around. But I guess it's a better experience for everyone. So thanks once again.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Annabelle?
Yeah, I feel very touched by these wonderful talks, and I can really feel how like open source contribution and especially Djangonaut Space is so much more than contributing code. It's like the community, the sense of belonging, and also for my side, thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anyone else would like to talk about it or ask questions? The space is open. Yes, Rafaela.
First of all, I would like to thank all of the speakers because I was really moved by all of your talks, because I think I could remember. I think I remember the feelings when I did join Djangonaut Space as a participant. So having the chance to listen to your all of your journey, was really it's something that really touched my soul. And I would like to ask you for anyone who want to reply to this. I would like to ask, what do you suggest for your past self, or maybe someone that face the open source contribution for the first time? What's your suggestion could be for you or another new contributor?
That's a great question. To all our speakers for today, who would be like to answer this question? You can.
Yeah, to anybody that want to reply. I can go first if that's okay.
Yes, definitely.
I would like to. I think I also said maybe multiple times, but I would like to repeat to myself, suggest to myself, my past self, to ask as many questions as I need to, because meeting the community and having the chance to have space where we can learn together and we can improve. It's really important, also for myself, but also for everyone else, because I noticed that maybe a question that comes in my mind, maybe it's not something that has never asked before. But if it has already asked before, at least I have something to learn. And if I share the same question, maybe other people have the same doubt, same question, the same problem. So it has a multiple purpose to ask question. So I would like to encourage myself to don't be afraid to ask questions.
Definitely, yeah. Asking questions could look daunting initially, but we have to dare greatly when we're in open source and get started with it. Dare to ask questions, dare to work around the PRs, in, of course, a humble and polite way, keeping in mind the respect and inclusivity of the community. So, panel discussion, open for the panel discussion. What advices or suggestions would you like to give to your past self or someone who's starting out in the open source? Or the future Djangonauts?
Um,
Yes,
go.
we can go one by one. Mar?
Okay, so for me, maybe the biggest realization is that open source is as much the community as it is the code itself. And to work issues out, you need to talk with someone rather than just trying to solve everything via code. So yeah, discussing with the community first and becoming involved rather than just it's a lot more than just code. There are design decisions or a lot of things that you have to take in mind.
Yes, community involvement and the support that we get from the community is brilliant. I believe next up was Chiemezuo who was talking around.
Yeah, you can just call me Mizuo subsequently, but yeah. So the advice I would give any other like any future Djangonauts would be it's okay to feel nervous. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. You don't have to know everything. In fact, if you knew everything, chances are you wouldn't be a Djangonaut. You would have already been like a maintainer or something. So, but like it's also important to realize that the navigators, the captains, the people you reach out to were once upon a time at the position you are in where they felt clueless. So I think the navigators are good at reminding you that, oh, yes, that we understand how you feel. Don't feel nervous, or at least even if you feel nervous, don't let the nervousness be a hindrance from moving forward. So, yeah, be comfortable in reaching out to anybody in the community and, yeah, just feel at home, to use that in quotes. Yeah.
Thank you for the advice. We can take one more question before we wrap. Anyone has any questions in mind or some reflections? Nope, all good. Okay. Then thank
I
you. Yeah.
guess
Yes, please.
sorry. I think I was looking for the right words like to say. So to me, I would say that this program is more of like a journey than a marathon. And every challenge that you face, or perhaps every win that you get, is like like a building block towards progress. So nothing should either demotivate you or discourage you to be able to to do more. And I think to me that's like an attitude that I would have, and maybe I would encourage anyone who would be coming to open source, because it matters like a lot to be able to move on despite maybe the discussion, or perhaps what's not working right, or perhaps excitement and stuff like that. Yeah.
I love that how you mentioned about the building blocks concept, and I'd like to give a little touch to that, that maybe all those building blocks are with different members of the community, and when they all come together, bringing those different building blocks, that's how the whole community tower, that's how it's skyrocketed. So yes, yes, and that's how the cake is made, definitely. Cool. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. It was amazing to listen to all of you, the experiences that you have shared with us, and your journey for this Djangonaut Space Showcase. Hope to see you all in the upcoming showcase to listen to more folks and celebrate more victories for the Cosmic Conference. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Djangonaut Space Showcase. I'm so glad that you all are here today. We have almost spent 8 weeks learning together, contributing, questioning, sometimes stretching ourselves, and most importantly, showing up together as a community. Looking back, this journey has been truly special. Today is that moment to celebrate everything that went into these weeks, the curiosity you brought, the courage you practiced, the challenges you worked through, and the community that we have created all along the way. So, Djangonauts Showcase is our cosmic conference of lightning talks, the reflections and shared experiences that we have all come together to reflect on how it had been in this journey. This isn't about the great contributions or just about the issues that we have been discussing, maybe over track or anywhere related. It's also about who we all have become while doing it, what we have learned, both code and non code wins, the PRs that we have merged, every debugging marathon, every conversation that had helped us move forward, or sometimes that push through the self-doubt. We are here to discuss about that. We're not here for the flawless talks or like the most perfect presentation. We are here to honor each other's journey. We are here to be surrounded by people who have understood our efforts and would be there after this as well. So, yes, take pride in yourself of what you have achieved in this program and what you want to achieve further, and let's recognize the efforts. So, who will be speaking today? We have voices from across the teams and projects who have contributed in different ways, who have looked across this program in different perspectives, yet bringing the whole different diverse perspectives together in our welcoming community. So the 8 week picture would be formed by Annabelle, Collins, Eddy, Daniel today, and what they have experienced so far. You'll hear a variety of reflections, both technical, non technical, personal insights, some memorable wins, some lessons learned, and how the journey they have felt. So, yes, settle in, cheer for the cosmic celebrations, how you can engage. I invite you all to react in the chat, send emojis, ask questions towards the end of all speakers once they have presented. And feel free to engage with the conversations. Let's kick start of the lightning talks and celebrate the learnings. So welcome again. First up, we have Annabelle, who is the Djangonaut for Team Neptune and has contributed to the Django Code project. Over to you, Annabelle.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. When I applied for Djangonaut Space, like all of you, I was asked which area of Django I was particularly interested in. I replied that I was interested in the ORM, although I'm not some sort of SQL expert, which somehow I felt I needed to be in order to work on an ORM ticket. But a documentation ticket would be fine, right? So I assigned myself a ticket with the title Document that first filter chain to a related manager is sticky. I thought, this is an easy entry point to the ORM. I just have to reproduce the queries in the ticket and document the unexpected behavior of the filter method. Easy. While digging deeper into the query examples and the unexpected filter behavior, I realized that I had to understand the underlying SQL queries in a bit more detail. It took me a while to understand what the ticket was actually about. When I tried to figure it out on my own, I actually got a headache, and at some point I thought, let's face it, this is too difficult for me. Next slide, please.
But then I got lots of help from the Djangonaut Space community and beyond. And that allowed me to learn so much and become more confident. Simon Charrette's talk, What the Join, helped me understand how the Django ORM joins database tables under the hood. I had some helpful discussions in my team, shout out to Team Neptune, and in the Django Tickets channel on Discord. After submitting a pull request, Django fellow Jacob Wall's review comments really helped me refine the documentation of the surprising filter behavior. Next slide, please. I'm glad I didn't give up because I learned so much along the way. I learned how to work with a test project, how I can print out the underlying SQL statement of a query, and that I can experiment with SQL queries in the Django database shell. I learned that I can share reproducible queries with a very helpful tool called DryORM. And yes, in the end, I was able to understand and document the sticky filter behavior reported in the ticket. And my PR actually got merged yesterday. On a meta level, I learned that it's important to ask for help. A short piece of feedback from a more experienced person can go a long way. And while I'm still on my journey, I would say the ORM is complex, yes, but you can understand it. And you don't have to understand it all at once. You can take it one query at a time. So that was it from my side, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much. One query at a time. That's definitely a proverb from now. Congratulations on your PR merged. Well done. It sounded really great to all of us. And thank you for giving shout out to the rest of our community members as well. So, yes, celebrating together in the same spirit, we have Collins, who's the Djangonaut of Team Jupiter, Wagtail. So, over to you, Collins.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. So, hello everyone. I want to share a bit about my journey within the Djangonaut space. So, when I first joined, I was honestly nervous. I used to think open source was only for highly experienced developers. Maybe people with like 20 or 30 years of experience at minimum. But my captain and my navigator really changed that for me. They kept reminding me that open source is for everyone and that even small contributions matter a lot within the open source community. I can say that that encouragement really pushed me forward to take the first step. And I eventually made my very first contribution to the Wagtail Bakerydemo. It felt really exciting, but at the same time, it was really scary. But my navigator gave me feedback, walked me through the different approaches, and helped me understand their thought process. And let me tell you, that was the moment everything started making sense. What I can say is that this experience showed me that open source is not just about code. It's about collaboration, learning from each other, and seeing how different people think through problems. And honestly, let me just tell you, open source is really fun. It's like solving puzzles. I think this has been this has been a really fun thing to explore as a newbie. One thing that really surprised me is how the Djangonaut space feels like a family. It's a place where you're not just pushing code. You're sharing wins, sharing frustrations, and even life updates. Uh, and every 2 weeks, without fail, someone checks in on you. You suddenly get a DM on Discord. How are you feeling? Have you met with your captain? Are you okay? Even on days where you're feeling down, just seeing that message, it just lifts you up. It reminds you that you're not doing this alone. There's a community backing you up. So for me, this journey was more than learning Django or contributing to the open source. It was about finding a community that supports you, a community that guides you, and a community that celebrates your progress. And that's something that I'll I'll always carry with me. Yeah. So thank you for listening, and thank you to the whole Djangonaut family. Yeah, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Collins. That was a really heartwarming and thoughtful walkthrough. I could see folks smiling and nodding along. Thank you so much. I'm so moved and inspired by listening to you. Okay, next up, we have Eddy, who's the Djangonaut of Team Mars and has contributed to Core Django. Over to you, Eddy.
All right. Before Django Notes, I remember asking myself, what does it mean to be a developer? Because um, at some point we have users that rely on the code that developers are building. But on the other hand, we also have developers that rely on other projects like those in open source, the Django project, for example. So I was feeling like we are all users of something, and getting involved in Django Notes was a way to approach that question for me. Djangonaut Space for me was the opportunity to build, to break things, to fix them, and to rebuild my relationship with the framework, with the tool I'm using. And it's more about confidence right now, not just code, because yes, technically I've improved a lot, and mainly because of the ticket I was working on, the one that is my main focus. It's about ONRM challenge that has been there for 15 years. So at first, I was really intimidated by the ticket because it's been there for so long, but it was talking about exclude, and I was thinking exclude is really basic, and I know it, I like it, so yeah, I'll work on. I'm glad that finally I was able to suggest a solution that has been approved, and thanks to my mentors, thanks to the captain, those who review my PR, and for those who are watching this, I would like to say it's okay not knowing how to do things, but if anyone is interested in open source, yes, a program like Django Note is a safe space to try your ideas and to grow up, not just technically, but also with the community. The main thing that I will keep is contribution to open source is more like knowing the limits of your tools and learning how to push them forward. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much, Eddy. Loved how you navigated those 13-year-old PR. It really needs confidence to do that. So, yes, thank you so much. Next up, we have Daniel, who's the Djangonaut of Team Saturn and has contributed to Django Debug Toolbar. Daniel, the stage is all yours.
Thanks, Priya. I hope my voice is loud and clear.
And my name is Daniel Okot. Okot means rain. So when I'm speaking, it's like it's raining, like yeah. So I'll rain for this time around. So well, my experience with Djangonaut Space has really been amazing, I would say. At the beginning of the year, I just left the job because I wanted to, to connect back with something that has been part of me since I was young, and that was software engineering after switching industries. And then after, trying out to look, how I can get my foot into the open source, I found out on many, resources and many platforms, but I ended up, landing on, Django Space, and I was like, okay, I think I should give it a try. But I think the turning moment was when I was, I was attending PyCon, Uganda, and there was a Linux kernel developer who was giving like a talk, and he was talking about open source. So I was like, okay, let me try out. So there was a tool that I was using, and it was called, I think, dependency injector. I was writing some unit tests. So when I saw some, documentation, issue, I was like, okay, I think I can fix this. So I went and then I made a PR, and then the person welcomed me and was like, you can make a PR and then fix that. So once I fixed that, I was like, I think maybe I should give back to the community because it felt like I used Django for a long time, and there was no way that I could, justify. It's like as if I've been stealing code or something for that kind. So uh, that's how I got myself here. And to just say what I worked on, I would say basically the ticket for generating the documentation locally for the Django, I mean the back toolbar, like has really been something that I feel proud that I was able to lay my hands on and work on it. And that's why I think that emoji there of a smile accompanies the bullet point because it was really amazing. But I think what was most important, like when I was in this program, is that I came to realize that development is not necessarily about writing code and testing code and debugging and stuff like that. It's something much more broader, and it's something that when you're starting out as a developer, sometimes you're not exposed to the fact that you have to communicate your thought process. You have to understand the other, side so that you can agree on something. Because sometimes what you have in your head is not necessarily what someone else has in their head, and so vice versa. So when you come and lay out your thought process, you come to a conclusive, should I say, a solution that works both and makes progress. So I would say that's something that I really learned, even though it's intimidating. Going into the maintenance DM and asking questions, sometimes it feels dumb, but then you have to get over it because if you do not do it, then you won't get ahead and stuff like that. So it's kind of like playing ping pong or perhaps like table tennis or something like kind. It's a back and forth process. So, what mattered most to me was like the team felt more like a family, and I would say just the word team itself, like coincidentally, like Team Schilling, like each and every time that maybe perhaps we were from a weekend, like we just connected, like talked about pets, talked about stuff, and it wasn't really like that much draining. Like on my side, it didn't feel like a 9 to 5 job or anything of that kind, and that's the kind of energy that I think pushed me forward to really give it time and be able to make meaningful contribution. But then, besides that, I would say that there is this one ticket that I also liked. It wasn't something that much serious, but Tim was in a suggestion that, can we get some more green lights after, dependency updates and all that stuff? And I was like, yeah. So there was a ticket that I just updated the dependency, and the pipeline was again back to green. And that kind of felt like a superhero or something that kind. And to me, it's a more win, I would say. It's more than I don't know how to compare it, but I think it's something that really stood out for me, knowing that at least even the smallest bit that you contribute really, matters like a lot to bring something like, a release version or something of that kind. So, and I would say more PRs are still coming. This is not the end. I know the time has been short and, challenges in and out there by the time zones and, constraints like on resources and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I'm still contributing, and I'm still willing to be mentored by the best because if you learn from the best, then you're always the best. So thanks, Priya, and thanks, the organizing team, for this session. Thank you so much. Asante sana. That's how I say it in Swahili.
Yes, thank you. That was so, so beautifully expressed, all the meaningful contributions, or the way, especially you highlighted about the communication thought process, how to lay it out there, and the special superhero powers. Cheers to all these learnings. Thank you, Daniel, for sharing it with us. So that's it. That's from the speakers for today. Now the space is open for questions for everyone to engage in the conversations or ask questions from our speakers. You may drop them in the chat or use the raise hand feature to ask the questions, and we can go one by one. Yes, Rafaela, please go ahead.
I would like to ask you for every speaker that share our thoughts. I would like to ask you what could be the suggestion that you could give to a first timer contributor or your past self when you first join Djangonaut Space. If you have a suggestion.
That's a really thoughtful question, Rafaela. I'd love to see insights from folks around this. Okay, the panel discussion of our speakers would want to go first. Please raise your hand. All right. Yeah, Annabelle. Yes.
I can say something. Yeah, don't. I mean, if you ask yourself, am I good enough? Can I contribute something? Of course, you can contribute something. You can contribute in many different ways, and there are many people to help you. So don't be shy. Just try it out.
Yes, trying it out. Thank you for the advice. Anyone else would like to talk about this, the suggestion that you'd like to give to your past self or the future Djangonauts, I'd say. Yes, Daniel.
Yeah, so what I would like to say is that there will always be that smaller voice in your head when you're, planning to go into the maintenance DM or perhaps in the platform that, oh, this question is stupid, this question is, but if you just only learn how not to listen to that voice and ask the question respectfully, then most of the answers and most of the intimidating situations will always be avoided because I think to me that's what stood out most because I wasn't feeling that much confident in the first place. Everything just, sounded like as if it was new. But as soon as I learned to understand that, okay, it's okay to ask those questions, and sometimes your maintainer won't even have the captain or perhaps the navigator might not even be having the answer to it. But then with more and more, of, suggestion and just, opening up your mind, like you always arrive at the, solution and which is like a win-win for both. So do not be scared to ask, questions.
Yes. Putting oneself out there, asking questions in a supporting community is really important, as Daniel mentioned, and of course, the competence and confidence comes along the way. So, yes, Collins?
I think something that I would advise someone who's new to open source is to take feedback positively. Like, feedback isn't criticism, it's just guidance to help you improve more on what you're doing. Yeah.
Very well said. Feedback, giving a feedback and taking a feedback, both of the things is an art in itself. So, yes, there's no silly questions. Yes, there are no silly questions. Anyone else would like to highlight on this aspect or would want to ask some other question? Please go ahead and, as said, ask questions. Yes, Ernesto.
Hello, thanks for the presentations. It shows a very nice amount of work that that was done to enter the to start contributing to open source, and I think it's as it was said, there is nothing as a small contribution. Every contribution is welcome, and it's upon us to show the other people outside the open source that we welcome their contributions. I wanted to say that and other thing that I want to say regarding the dumb questions. A friend of mine once said, the only expert is the one that has already made every mistake possible. And we all can learn from making mistakes, and we should encourage other people to be aware that making a mistake is part of the learning process. You learn only doing making mistakes and recognizing the mistakes and fixing the mistakes. You are not going to learn asking ChatGPT about something, because ChatGPT is going to give you an answer without explanation, and sometimes it may be even wrong, the explanation that it gives you. And the only way to learn something is to do it. Hopefully you can get this right the first time, and if you need one or two more approaches to solve this problem, be sure that you're going to learn more from this process. And that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you so much, Ernesto. That was an insightful take and an amazing advice for each one of us. We can take one more question before we wrap this up. Yes, Collins.
I do have a question for you, the Djangonaut organizers. Like, how was the experience for you during this period?
Thank you for the question. All the organizers who we have here would like to answer this question first. Please share your experience with us. I'd go first. For me, it has been phenomenal. I really love organizing Djangonaut Space and talking to people, knowing their perspectives on open source, knowing how they engage with the community, and more importantly, learn from each one of them in this journey every day, from be it managing daylight saving times to managing timelines. It never feels like work. It always feels like coming back to home and having a happy discussion, happy contribution, organizing this, even despite, you know, a rough work day or something like that. So thank you so much. Firstly, thank you, each one of you, for making it possible, for making this community so welcoming. It feels grateful to be part of this. Yes, and we have amazing session organizers here with us.
I'll share mine if that's all right. I was gonna say every session we have, you never know what it's gonna go like. We have different volunteers, of officers, of captains, navigators, and a whole new group of Djangonauts joining. They don't know how it's gonna go. They trust us to lead them and to have a good program for them, and hopefully it's gone well. From these talks today, it seems as it has. But it's always interesting. You never know the personalities you're going to get, how they're going to mix and mingle. But we always, and this session is no different. There's always some, amazing experiences and PRs and conversations and new personalities and connections that come out of it. And every time it's really rewarding to see. For me, it's the human connections. I could care less about the PRs, but I mean, I have to say I do because that's what this is for. But I'm here for friends and like the community and connecting and the jokes and the pet pictures and supporting each other when we have bad days, for example, and checking in on each other, like Colin said. So thank you for being here and being a part of it. Really keeps me kind of volunteering here and keeps me around.
Thank you, Rachel. Yes, Rafaela.
Yeah, thank you so much, Collins, for this question because this is my first ever time that I organizing Djangonaut Space. So the first when I expressed my interest, I was like, I'm not good enough. I never done this before. What am I gonna do this? But uh, actually, the team that we had in the session was amazing. I think we did a great connection to each other, and it was there was lots of work to do, and something of course I didn't expect to. But what I really appreciate is the fact that the environment was so important because I knew almost all of the organizers, and having the chance to learn something new, and also I would like to thank you all of the speakers today and yesterday because I think it reminds me how important is not just for us to organize things, but also for people that appreciate what we are doing, and it. I am speechless by the talk that I really thank you for what have you done during this session. I think it was amazing that you did wonderful things.
Thank you, Rafaela, for sharing that with us. Shahamat.
I think Tim's was up first, so maybe he can go first.
Okay, sure.
Thanks. Yeah, I actually don't have much to add. Rafaela kind of stole it of like, yeah, sharing positive feedback. That was what I was gonna say. Yeah. So I really did like what Dan and you pointed out of like quieting that voice in the back of your head. And so as a session organizer, like Rachel was saying, you put it together and you do a bunch of this work up front. We're not really sure what you're gonna get. And so when we see these amazing showcases and like see how it's impacted the individuals, yeah, that feels really good. And I highly encourage everybody, if you do come across this beyond even this session, and in open source in general, there is not enough positivity being shared back to people who are volunteering. So if we can do a better job of quieting that voice in the back of our head to share these good feelings to other people too, yeah, very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim, for sharing that. Ramat?
Oh yeah, I think everyone has just said everything I was going to say. So yeah, I mean starting from I remember when I applied as an officer, I remember not even choosing like being a session organizer because I didn't know what to expect. And I wasn't even sure I could like I could be an organizer or something. So I remember just applying for my captain and then seeing how it goes. And then Tim saying, "Oh, do you want to try being a session organizer?" And I think the experience has been really amazing for me. Having to like chat with all of the Djangonauts and then speak with them and just like following up on conversations and basically the whole experience. The community has been awesome, like literally the best. Starting from like when I was a Dragonauts captain till now, the community has been really great, and I really do appreciate everyone. And I hope I get to see some of you participating as organizers as well, or even captain or officers. And yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ramat. Thank you, Collins, for asking that question. Lots and lots of appreciation for Miguel, Pradwan, and Tom as well for shaping this session's journey. And of course, our past session organizers as well, and maybe the future ones would be joining next. Go fill out the form in case you're interested. So, yes, thank you so much for joining in, for sharing your experiences, for making us feel happy about the Djangonaut Space Session 5 and for having the showcase. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for giving your precious time. Hope to catch up soon.